Genie and Father, baby. Gonna rub you the right way, baby.
Hey guys, how are you all doing today? It's Liz. So today's video is going to be how my endometriosis was undiagnosed for 15 years. Yep, 15, and I'm only 32 now. I was gonna say 33, but that's still like 2 months away, so I'm just holding on to that. Probably why you clicked on this video is to be like, do I have endometriosis? Am I just crazy? Am I a complainer? Does everybody else like just die once or twice a month? Does anybody else just like contract in on themselves and just rock back and forth, hoping that the sweating and the pain and the crippling like will just stop, but then you try and get up and it's like a fucking river out of you. Sorry, that probably got really gross and really graphic, but if you've had those problems, you possibly do have endometriosis. Signs that you might have endometriosis are you have heavy periods, you are in an immense amount of pain, like cramp wise, like you'll get the sweats, the headaches, the shakies, because let's face it, you're in that much freaking pain, you're just about to pass out anyway. Digestive problems, you know, they're always a fun one, but that's another sign of it. Abnormal bleeding, I bleed for 120 days-ish. There was another time when I got really sick, when I was really deathly sick. I would get the flu and then my period, and then the flu and then my period, so I was never well. It was literally 1 week I had the flu, 1 week I had my period, 1 week I had the flu, 1 week I had my period. Like I was never well. I was diagnosed with breast cancer 6 months after my endometriosis. My period started when I was 12, so from 12 to 16 I just kept the pain quiet. I remember being at intermediate school and just running off to the bathroom being like, oh my god, just fucking kill me now. So yeah, it was like that from like 12 to 16. When I turned 16 or 17, I took myself off to the doctor, and the first thing I said was, my periods are awful. I don't want children, and this is when I was 16 years old. I don't want children. I can't handle this. I physically, mentally can't handle this. Like, this cannot be normal. And they basically just kind of me away. Like, it's just your body, love. You know, you just have to learn to control the pain. Here's some codeine. And oh, how about we look into birth control? Because that's very helpful for heavy periods. So we can either talk about the pill or we can talk about the Depo-Provera. I'm rubbish for taking pills. I have to take other pills now as an adult, and I'm rubbish at it. And I'm meant to take them 3 times a day, and I'm lucky if I take them twice. And you tell a 16-year-old you can either have to have a pill every day, or you can have this shot and you only have to come in once every 3 months. What is the 16-year-old going to choose? The pills where your parents can find them, you know, you're not going to remember to take them, you're going to lose it. Like, it's just a whole freaking rigmarole hoo-ha. Whereas here, you can just get shot in the bum and leave. So, of course, I chose that. At the time, that was the best thing that could have happened to me. It helped stop my periods to a point. I still bled on it, but it wasn't quite so bad. I must have been on it for about a year and a half. That is when I literally bled for 4 months straight. It wasn't heavy bleeding, it wasn't like, oh my god, I'm dying. It was just constantly every single day. I continue to go to doctors and plead the same case. I have to go to work. The only person supporting me is me, and I want to buy a house, and my partner's fucking useless, so like I have to sacrifice something, and it ended up being my health. So I really sympathize with you if people are not listening to you and taking your pain seriously. Doctors will just treat you like you are silly little girls, and they will just give you painkillers and la 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 la. At the end of the day, you need a doctor that is actually going to listen to you and take you seriously. Talking to people finding out who they go and see, it will change your life. And I know that sounds like, I went undiagnosed for so long and I was so sick. I mean, I had cancer as well and I didn't know, okay, but like, I was so sick. And when people are telling you there's nothing wrong with you, yet there is and nobody's listening to you, that is freaking maddening. It is so maddening, it is so condescending. I was off the depot from 22 to 27. So for those 5 years, my health dramatically went downhill. Dramatically. You're probably sitting there going, well, why didn't you stay on the depot then Liz, if it seemed so fine? The problem is, my weight skyrocketed. Coming off the injection and changing my diet, the weight just came off. The mental clarity came back a bit more. You felt sharper, because a lot of the time with pharmaceutical medication, it's numbing. And I know that sounds very weird, but you don't realize till you're fully off the medication that you're like, oh, this is what it's like to kind of just be in my body kind of thing. And yeah, my body hurts, but you know, I'd rather it hurt a bit than to be poisoning myself. This loops back to the doctors. I was continuously going to the doctors. You can go back in the injection again, and of course in your 20s you're just like, I just can't be fat. I just can't be fat and useless. Like, I can be useless, I can be ugly, I can be stupid, but I can't be fat. And that's exactly where my brain went, okay? So I'm being pretty blunt there. But the doctors in that period of time just constantly telling me that, well, just sort it out. Just sort it out. It's your own problem. It's your body. Just sort it out. We'll chuck you some painkillers. Literally, the last straw was, I'd been seeing this one doctor consistently for a year and a half. This is when I used to work 6 days a week. So can you imagine someone who's cutting your hair, working 6 days a week? I went out every Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I was either had a cold one week or my period the next week. Like, I was fucking a hot mess. And you go to the doctor and you tell them all these things, and their suggestion is, well, if it doesn't get any better, we could probably look at prescribing you morphine tablet. You're gonna make me a drug addict because you're too fucking stupid to do your damn job. That was the final fucking straw when she was just like, oh, well, we'll give you morphine. And I'm like, I'm allergic to codeine as it is. I don't know how I'm going to possibly have morphine and function. But they didn't care about that. Them also misdiagnosing my cancer as well. I went in with chest pains about 6-7 months before I was diagnosed, and she said I'd strained my sternum even though I hadn't done anything to strain my sternum, and that's where the tumours were. The industry that my husband works in, he was able to get a recommendation for a private gynecologist. I was able to get an appointment with him in a week. I went into his office, sat down, rattled off everything that I had wrong with me: heavy bleeding, can't function, headaches, da 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 da. You probably have endometriosis. So yeah, he diagnosed me within 5 minutes and said, we will get you on the public waiting list and we will get you a laparoscopy, because a laparoscopy is the only way to confirm what's in there, because it is an internal issue. They obviously have to get in there. So you will have a laparoscopy, which is keyhole surgery. I talk about in my last endometriosis video. They are able to go in, have a nosy and tell you exactly what is wrong with you. That is literally the only way they will be able to find out, is if they cut you open. So you're like, oh Liz, when did you have your laparoscopy? Wow, as I said, I got diagnosed with cancer 6 months later, so that kind of got pushed to the back burner. One of the things that was brought up was that my cancer is HER2 positive, which means I have estrogen dominance, so my estrogen levels are excessively high. So I was put on a hormone blocker called Zoladex. The hormone blocker just literally shuts your system down, closed for business. So the one pro with that was that it stopped my periods. It literally, because it forces you into menopause, you don't get your periods. So I had my first laparoscopy done while I was on hormone blockers. It was when I came off the hormone blockers that the problems started again. So I don't know if the first laparoscopy really did a heck of a lot. And you're probably saying, well, why don't you stay on the hormone blockers? They make you batshit crazy. Honestly, honey, not having any estrogen is just awful. But the second one that I just recently had this year that they did the endometrial burn off with, awesome. Awesome, awesome. It's now been 5 months. I haven't had a period since. Here's a sad little story. So I remember speaking to the gynecologist at the hospital and I was just like, are my eggs good for anything? Like, can we donate them to science? Can they do something? Are they good for anything? And the gynecologist, she was saying that my eggs were no good for anyone and no one would want them anyway. So I was just like, oh, thanks, okay, cool. Can't even donate my eggs to science. Like, they don't even want them for that. They're just like, you keep that scramble and you, This is why it takes me a long time to do sit down videos, because I just talk and I can't stop it, and it's going to end up being the length of a Trisha Paytas video. All I'm trying to say is find a good doctor. Find a good doctor who will listen to you, who just doesn't want to medicate you up and just, you know, you away, because that could literally mean your life. Like, if you can't get out of bed, you can't work, you can't see your friends, you can't hang out with your kids, you can't do this, that and the next thing. It is literally soul destroying. Right guys, anyway, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or subscribe. It would totally mean the world to me. I'll see you next time guys. Bye.